Hello, this is a video on how to play the card game Pan. Pan is not a card game that is too difficult. It's a relatively simple card game, and so let's get right into it. Pan is a card game that can be played from anywhere between 2 to 4 players. In this case, we'll be playing with 4 players in this demonstration. The objective of the game is to get rid of all of your cards as soon as possible. The game ends when there is only one player left. This player gains a negative point. The match is over when one of the players earns 3 negative points, one for each letter of the game name Pan. Alternatively, instead of giving out negative points, you can just spell out Pan, right? And so if a player is the last player left in the game, meaning they lost the game, right? Because that means they did quite bad, because you do want to get rid of all of your cards. And so if they are the last player in the game, instead of saying, hey, you have 1 negative point, you could say, hey, you earned the letter P, right? If somebody already has the letter P, you could say, hey, you earned the letter A, right? And you could spell out Pan like that, right? So 3 negative points, or spell out the name Pan, just like the game of basketball, right? The game of horse in basketball. And so just like that, you can spell it out, or you could give 3 negative points, whatever is easier for you. So, in terms of playing, the player with the smallest number of negative points wins. So there can be more than one winner of the match, right? And so let's say one player earns 3 negative points, or earns all the letters in the word Pan, then the game immediately stops, right? And there could be 2 other players who both only have 1 negative point. And in that case, they would be tied for being the winner of the game, right? So there can be more than one winner. So the winner is the player with the smallest number of negative points once the game ends, right? And so the suits of the cards are ignored apart from the beginning of the game. So suits don't matter apart from the beginning of the game, and you'll see that here. And the ranks determine the strength of the card, and so the ranks are the only thing that essentially determine the strength of the card. The suits don't matter. In the following order from lowest to highest, right? It's 9 being the lowest and ace being the highest. So you're going to need, you're playing with a 9, 10, jack, queen, king, and ace in that order from lowest to highest. So do note that you do from your standard 52 card deck, you want to remove your 2 through your 8 because you won't be needing them here. And so the suits of the cards are ignored, right? And so the game starts with the player who holds the 9 of hearts, right? In this case, one of the players had the 9 of hearts. In this case, since play is clockwise, that means a blue happy face here had the 9 of hearts. So, the game starts by the player who holds the 9 of hearts, and they place it in the middle of the table, starting the pile in the middle. This card cannot be taken and remains there for the entire game. Players play clockwise and complete their turn by putting a card or multiple cards on the pile, or taking a card or multiple cards from the pile. Only 1 or 4 cards of the same rank can be placed per turn. The exception is for 9s. If the player holds 3 9s, but none of them is the 9 of heart, then they can be placed together. So the card to be placed on the table must be at the same or higher rank as the top one of the pile, right? And so essentially here, right, we look and we see that we can place, first of all, essentially, right, how to play Pan. 6 cards are dealt to each player, right? And you're only going to play with your 9s through your aces. So in terms of how to play, right, the player with a 9 of hearts starts first, and we're just summing the game up here. And the objective is to place a card that is of a higher rank than the card in the middle currently at the top of the pile. So in this case, 9 is currently in the middle at the top of the pile, and so I have to place a 10 or higher. And note that you can place either 1 card or 4 cards, right? So I have my 10s here. I can't place all 3 10s on. Why? You can only place 1 or 4. It's either or. It's not in between. It's either you have all 4 cards of the same rank and you can place them on, or you have a singular card of a higher rank that you can place. And so we'll go ahead and we'll play our 10 of hearts there. And so note that it can be the card that is going to be placed can be, as you can see, those jacks were being placed there. So it can be at the same or higher rank as the top one of the pile, right? And so in that case, I went higher, but I could have very well placed this 9 of clubs as well. And so cards can also be taken from, and so that's how you play cards on the pile, right? It's either the same rank or higher. Cards can also be taken from the pile. If there is at least 1 card over the 9 of hearts. So provided you cannot take the 9 of hearts, any other card can be taken. Players take 3 cards if no move is possible for them, or simply if you want to, right? And so if no move was possible for me, I could take 3 cards. So that's what I'll do here. I'll take the 3 cards just for the sake of it. Even though a move was possible for me there, I just wanted to demonstrate that if you want, or if a move's not possible, right? If a move's not possible, then you are forced to take 3 cards from the middle. But even if you have a possible move, if you believe it's best for your strategy, you can also take a card from the middle. So how do you play Pan? 9 of hearts starts out the middle pile, plays clockwise. You want to beat the card in the middle with the same or higher rank. You can either play 1 card or 4 cards, not in between. Right, so you can play 1 card to the middle or 4 cards to the middle. If you have no move or you simply choose not to make a move, you take 3 cards from the middle. If there are less than 3 cards available, the remaining ones, right, should be taken. So sometimes you take 2 cards or 1 card from the middle, keeping in mind that the 9 of hearts stays on the table for the entire game and it cannot be taken. So that's pretty much it. That's literally it. Quite simple, right? The player who loses the round and gains a negative point or gains the letter P is a player who has cards left in their hand, the last player. So I'm in quite a negative spot, and I'll tell you why. I picked up these 3 jacks here. So every other player is picking up cards, right? I picked up these 3 jacks here, and so that's why I'm in a bit of a negative spot. Reason being is I probably will be the last player with cards left. So that's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. So we'll take 3 cards here. No, I don't know why it's making me, yeah. So you notice how that player played out all 4 cards there, right? And so, as you can see, the gameplay does go back and forth with players being forced to pick up cards and place them back down. So I'm forced to pick up cards now. Probably going to lose this round. So no, I cannot place. I have to have 4, right, to place them down. And so luckily for me, I have to. So as you can see, it does go back and forth, right? Rounds can get quite long here. Nope. So as you can see, it does go back and forth here, right? Remember, you can only either place 1 or 4. Notice how I tried placing 3 there and it would not work. So I did that to sort of demonstrate that it wouldn't really work there. And so I gained a negative point. And so that is not even my fault, really. To be fair, I did that demonstration where I picked up a set of cards at the beginning, which aided in my loss there, but we'll continue. So as you can see, it does go back and forth, right? You put down cards and then you're forced to pick up more cards. So now we'll simply watch these players play it out. We'll fast forward it here. It is sort of like that there. And so now we'll continue playing, right? Same rank or higher. So the game is pretty simple, right? We can only play 1 or 4. Once again, I couldn't play 3 there. So we can, fast forward. So that wraps up how to play Pan. It's quite a simple game. I hope you enjoyed and thank you for watching.